Oh, good heavens! Good morning, friends. I didn't see you there. Welcome to our Aquarium Online Academy. My name is James. I'm from our education department here at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach. I have my friend Talia also on the boat. Captain Talia is going to be driving us around a little bit so we can find whales. It is Whale Wednesday here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, after all. Got my whale pin. You can participate too. It's not just for me. If you would like to have an adult help you, you can text us at 562 286 1838. You can ask us questions. You can make observations with me. But maybe you're not watching live Wednesday morning, or maybe you have a big question you need a longer answer to. Down here, we have an email. You can email us at live@lbaop.org. So, if we're going to be out on the water looking for animals, we probably need some exploration gear. What do you think we should bring along with us? I have my fancy binoculars, but you can have your science binoculars from home, just like that. You might be like one of those people on ships from a long time ago, and you have the long binocular one. So get your gear ready. We're going to need maybe a hat. Kind of sunny out there today. It's been quiet and cloudy the last couple weeks, but it's nice and sunny now. What else would we need? If you're like me, I use sunscreen. I also write things down. Maybe you want to take some notes and write some things down too. We have people here at the aquarium that help monitor whale sightings. We record where we see them. So wherever out in the ocean they are, we can record where they were. And there's other people that are interested in learning more about those animals, so we send them that information. You could probably help out with some of that too. All right, well, let's get out to the exploring part. If we're going to be looking for whales, we need to know what to look for too. So we got all our exploration gear, but we need to know what to look for, because if you're just looking, you may not know what you find. So whales are mammals. They breathe air like we do. We have lungs. Whales have lungs too. When they're at the surface, we can see them breathing out because their noses are not in the same spot as ours. Where's our nose? Right here. Where's the whale's nose? You're right, it's back here, on the back of their head. Why would it be back there? Captain Talia, maybe you can show us a picture of a whale at the surface so we can figure out more about why they do that. Now, their nose being back here helps them. It's called an adaptation. It's an ability to survive. When their nose is on the back, they don't have to stick their whole face out of the water. If you've ever been in the water, or maybe just playing in the bathtub, you're playing around, you're swimming, you got to come up for air and go back down. Now, I've seen whales jump and move around, but I've never seen them just be like, and then go back down. Because their nose is right here, they can just stay swimming, and with the nose on the back, it's like when we wear a snorkel in the water, our snorkel goes behind our head so that when we're looking down, you can still breathe while your face is in the water. Their body already is like that. So with their nose back there, they can breathe while they're in the water. Now, when they do get to the surface, since it's on their back, sometimes there's water sitting on their nose. And when they come up to the surface, they blow it off of the top of their nose. Kind of like you get water around your nose when you're swimming, you got to blow your nose. So they blow out when they get up to the top so they can release the air from their lungs. And we can see that. So when we're out on the water, let's look for the blow of a whale. Now, there's also some other things we can watch for. These animals like to splash. Sometimes they breach. They do jump and splash into the water. But the smaller ones, the dolphins, they're just kind of doing these little hops through the water. We call it porpoising. And when they're porpoising across the water, you can see all these little splashes on the surface. So we want to watch for the blows, big splashes, and some little splashes. But then there's sometimes we can see birds out there, because a lot of the seabirds eat the same food as the whales. Not this particular whale, but some of them are eating krill and small fish, just like the whales do. So, if they're out there and they're diving into the water, you can see the splashes from the birds. If the birds are diving down, getting into the water where their food's at, there might be whales nearby. All right, we've got our exploration gear. We know we need to look for blows and splashes and birds. So let's get exploring. Start looking around for whales. Do you see anything? Not yet. Oh, Captain Talia said there's some splashes way off in the distance. Little splashes. Little splashes. Might be dolphins. Let's see if we can catch up to some dolphins and find out who they are. Now, once we see them, we need to look at them closer. Oh, here's a good picture the captain gave us. This is a really special dolphin. It's actually one of my favorite kinds of dolphins. Thank you, Captain Dahlia, for finding this one. This is the Pacific white-sided dolphin. Now, there's that little splash they're making because they're doing just the little jumps in the water. But when the smaller dolphins are moving around, they may not be as acrobatic, jumping way up in the air. But when we look at their bodies, when they're out like this, we can see their colors. And the color tells me more about how to tell which dolphin it is. Now, the dolphin we often think of when you think of dolphins is a bottlenose dolphin. They're all gray, just gray on their bodies. But other dolphins have multiple colors like this one. This one is gray, black, and white. That's where they get their name from. The white on their sides and their sides of their dorsal fin, the white-sided dolphins. Now, these are fun. They really only hang out in winter and late fall. So that one's a little early, but that's okay. Maybe it's just exploring with us. So we get some dolphins that hang out only parts of the year. Do you know what it's called when animals move around for different seasons? It's not hibernation. Hibernation is when they sleep through the winter or for parts of the winter so they can save energy. Oh, I know, it rhymes with hibernation. You're right, it's migration. When they migrate, they move from area to area. They're doing that during the different seasons so that they can either find food, maybe they need to have babies, or sometimes they just change locations because they all go that direction. Some whales don't have to migrate, but they do. Here's a bunch of dolphins out in the water. See all these little splashes? When we're out there using our special binoculars, we can see all the little splashes at the surface from the dolphins coming up for air. Now I got out of the way so you can see a little bit better. Wow. Now, if you look closely, you might see a couple of little dolphins in there. That means they have little kit dolphins. Sometimes they do have babies in the area around Long Beach, and we can see those babies when they're out there. It's just they hang out with mom, just like you or I, when we're little kids, we hang out with mom a lot, you know, especially hold hands when we cross the street. Well, it's kind of like always crossing the street when you're out in the ocean. The babies hang out right next to mom on their side all the time so that they can learn how to be a dolphin. They can learn how to find food. They learn how to communicate. Did you know they talk to each other? Have you practiced your dolphin noises? Try it out. That's a really good dolphin noise. Dolphins make squeaks and squeals, and it's kind of like if you're playing with a balloon and you squeeze the neck of the balloon while the air is coming out. It makes weird noises, but it's really fun to do. And that's how they talk to each other. They can communicate just like you or I do with language, but also their bodies. Sometimes how they swim is how they communicate. And a lot of times, if one of the dolphins is trying to communicate with another, like they're trying to tell it, hey, come over this way, they'll slap their tail on the water, and it makes a big noise at the surface, and they have really good ears in the water, and sound travels really well underwater, that they can hear that slap from somebody's tail from a long distance away. So when they talk to each other or communicate, they can be from quite a ways, but they learn how to do that from mom. That's pretty cool. Well, let's keep exploring, keep moving around. Hopefully we'll find some of the big whales that are out here too. There's been a really large number of blue whales and fin whales this summer, which is really good. It means the oceans are healthier. It means there's a lot of food out there for them to eat, because this is the area where blues and fin whales like to eat. So it means there's enough for them to hang out with. Now, don't forget, you can ask me questions. You can text them in, or you can email if you want to. Live at lbaop.org is our email. If you want to text live, 562-286-1838. So dolphins, actually, while we're exploring... Oh, what? Captain Talia, what did we find? What do you think it is, friends? It's not just a bird. Oh, we want to look for birds, too. This is a fin whale. This is a big, big whale. Now, why do you think we call it fin whale? That's the part I was blocking. It's this. They have a big dorsal fin. So the fin on their back, a lot of whales have that. Some whales have really big fins. So among the biggest of all the big whales, the fin whales have the biggest ones on their backs. The biggest whale on the planet, the blue whale, actually has a very small dorsal fin, but that's okay. That's just the way their bodies are. Now here, keep a close eye. Look at this bird right here. This bird is how we know fin whales are in the area. This is a type of gull, type of seagull. And if they're out there, they eat the same food as that fin whale does. So we'll look for the birds and the whales in the water. And if we see these Bonaparte gulls, we know there should be a fin whale nearby, because if one of them is eating, the others figure it out. The whales can hear the birds diving into the water. Remember, they can hear really well underwater. If the birds see whales swimming around at the surface eating, because they're going to be looking for food all the time, that bird is going to fly over to where the whales are at. So it's kind of like telling everybody there's a buffet. There's a big sign out there. If they see one or the other kind of animal, we know there should be animals out there. Whoa, this is a really good image of the feeding. Wait. What is going on here, friends? Which way is their mouth supposed to go? I thought their mouth was kind of like this. But right now it looks like it's like this. They've flipped on their side. This is surface feeding. It's called lunge feeding. And lunging is like leaping forward to grab something for us. For them, they swim really quick, open their big mouth, and then they scoop in a bunch of water. This is a really cool process. I think there's a video of some feeding we can show you too. Captain Tully is going to find for us. So when they are swimming underwater, they have to catch their food. And their food is not very big, unless it's like a fish, which might only be this big. Their food tends to be kind of tiny. Everybody show me your pinky, like we're going to do a pinky promise. Your pinkies are about as big as the biggest kind of krill. Have you heard of krill before? Yeah, krill is a kind of little animal that looks like a shrimp that's just hanging out, floating in the water. And these big whales like to eat that. Fin whales and humpback whales, they will eat fish too. But the blue whales really only like to eat krill, which is kind of fun because they're the biggest thing, but they eat a little tiny food. So fin whales can eat fish and krill. But if you have a mouth that is like 10 feet long, how do you catch tiny, tiny little food? How do you think you would do it? If you had to eat just the tiniest little, like almost like Tic Tac, that's all you could eat. We use our teeth to eat, don't we? But what if you're not going to chew your food? That makes it challenging. If you don't chew your food, you still have to catch it. And whales like this one, like humpbacks, like blue whales, they have this stuff. Now, if you've watched our online academy programs before, you might recognize what this is. You've seen something like this before? Yeah, it's called baleen. Now, baleen is in their mouth. And when it's in their mouth, it helps filter their food. My friend yesterday explained it like if someone's making noodles at home and you want to dump out the water, how do you save the noodles but dump out all the water? You use something to filter it. Now, you might be able to hold the lid on top and you pour the water out. That works. You can also use something called a colander, which is like a bowl with holes in it. You pour everything in that, and all the water drains out. And the baleen, like the colander, would keep things behind it. So baleen is a good filtering tool. All the water out their mouth, and their food gets stuck behind in this stuff that kind of looks like a broom or a brush. But guess what? It's not plastic. It's made from their bodies. Their bodies grow it. But it's not like teeth either. It's not hard like teeth. It's more like your fingernails. Would you like to see a close-up of some of the baleen? All right, let's see if we can get the camera going on the side. and we'll take a close-up view of some baleen because baleen is really special. You'll get to see a little bit more like why I consider it like a fingernail when we get the camera going. And we'll look at the kind of brushy side too. So here's a humpback whale picture that we have from a previous feeding section. You can see the baleen right here hanging from the top of their mouth. It grows out of their gums like our teeth come out of our gums. Now, some of my young friends ask, do they ever lose their baleen like I lose teeth? What do you think? Do you think they can lose some of their baleen, like a lost tooth? It's an interesting idea. Now, since it grows like fingernails, could it grow back? We trim our fingernails every once in a while to make them short enough that they work for us. So our fingernails constantly grow. So does the baleen. Their baleen will constantly grow down out of their mouth, and so if they lose it, they can grow it back. I have seen some pictures of whales where it looks like they kind of lost a chunk. Kind of like if you lose your front tooth and you can, like, you put a straw in and squirt water. I don't know, whatever you do without your teeth. Kind of looks like that when they lose some. Let's take a look at baleen under the camera real quick. Look at these lines going down the baleen. Kind of looks like how your fingernails look, right? And if we look closer, we can see the brush-like ends. There we go. The brushy parts right here. It looks like a broom or a brush, but if we flip this over a little bit, we can see that these are all growing in layers. And these layers, each one has a little bit of space between it and makes it so that water can squirt through the baleen. That's pretty cool. And then this one, since it's dried out and it's not in a whale, it's kind of curled and changed shape as it's been sitting here. So it's not quite the same as what's in the whale's mouth, but it's very close. And the water would squirt through this way because this is the inside of the mouth side, like by the tongue. And then the rest of it comes out here. So their baleen hangs like this from the top of the mouth. The tongue would be about right here. They squirt the water out. Kind of like if you hold your lips together a little bit and you squirt water out between your lips. Just like that. And they can squirt the water out but keep the food. Oh, wow. That was pretty good. So, we learned about fin whales and how the fin whales feed. So when we saw that like mouth on the side picture, that whale was using its baleen to help grab the water. And their mouth expands kind of like a balloon. They can hold a whole lot of water right here in their mouth, kind of like we puff out our cheeks, but a whole lot more for them. They can hold thousands of gallons of water in their mouth at a time. Now, like an average bathtub at home might be 40 to 50 gallons. And they can hold thousands of gallons of water in their mouth. And they can squirt all that water out and keep the food in. That's how the big baleen whales are eating. Well, if that's how they eat, how would those dolphins be eating? We're going to find some more dolphins soon, I'm sure, because there's a lot of dolphins out here. I got to set the baleen down real quick. Dolphin teeth are really cool. Dolphin teeth are not like our teeth. I'm going to show you the lower part of a dolphin jaw. They have pointy teeth, kind of like our pointy canine teeth. And all they need to do is grab their teeth before they swallow it. Or grab their food with their teeth. Not grab their teeth. That doesn't make sense. Grab their food with their teeth before they swallow it. Now, they might be able to tear parts of their food off, but often a dolphin, this is a model or plastic skull, doesn't quite show up on my green screen. That's okay. They don't really eat the big stuff. Their big cousins, the orca or killer whales, orca can eat bigger food. So they might have to tear some of their food off so they can eat bites of it. But if you're eating a smaller fish, they just kind of eat it whole. That's pretty cool. Oh, Captain Talia said there's more dolphins out there. Are you looking with your special binoculars? I don't see them, Captain Talia. Oh, they said they're coming up. Get ready! Did you see them yet? Keep looking. These are bigger dolphins, but they're not going to make big splashes. Oh, here's some more splashes going on. Wow, these are a dolphin that hangs out here all the time. We see them so often, their nickname is the common dolphin because you see them most commonly or all the time. Common dolphins have a little bit different color. They have like a sandy yellowy patch right here on their side. And so that's how we can tell the difference between the white-sided dolphin we saw earlier and these dolphins. Common dolphins are about the same size. They're smaller, but they're still like 600 pounds. That's small for a dolphin. But they have that color on their side, and they're not making big splashes like bottlenose dolphins do. Bottlenose like to really jump out of the water. Here's a picture of a bottlenose. They are really acrobatic, and they will leap out of the water in those big, showy displays. They like to play a lot. And when we look at them when they're up, remember all gray is a bottlenose. Gray, black, and white, that's a white-sided dolphin. And then kind of sandy color right here, that's going to be the common dolphin. That's a lot of different kind of dolphins. There's a lot of dolphins on the planet. We only get to see a few here in California. Maybe if you're watching from another area besides California, you've seen some different dolphins. There's dolphins like the spinner dolphins, spotted dolphins, or these. I love these dolphins. We get these dolphins here in California quite a bit. But they don't quite look like those other dolphins did, do they? What differences do you notice on the skin of our dolphins here? Now, you might have seen their fins and be like, oh, Mr. James, that's a shark. Sometimes I would say that too because their dorsal fin is very tall and sometimes really pointed like a shark's is. But this is a mammal. This is a kind of dolphin. What differences did you notice? You can always ask us questions on our phone number. Text us at 562-286-1838. Or you can text in some observations. What do you notice? Now, we already talked about that I noticed there's really tall dorsal fins. And sometimes people, when I'm out on the boats with them, ask about, why is their dorsal fin so tall? Is that a shark? Nope, not a shark. Why is their skin look all scratchy with lines? Where are all these lines from? This dolphin, like all dolphins, are social. They like to hang out with each other. You see, we have 3 here in the pod. This is just part of the pod. The pod was actually much bigger when we saw them. And what they're doing is they have to use body language. Remember, use their bodies to talk to each other. They use their body language in a way that we don't do because they have to scrape their teeth on each other. They kind of grab and hold, like scrape with their teeth. We probably wouldn't do that to our friends. But dolphins do that. Not so hard that they leave like really bad scars. Most of these marks either change or heal up over time. Some of the deeper scars might take a little bit longer to heal, but this is a normal part of their day. Just like we get bumps or scratches or bruises when we play, this is part of their interaction with each other. They get these scratches on their body. The younger they are, the less scratches they have. Their skin is this dark gray like you see on the dorsal fin. And then as they get older, they get a few more scratches, and their skin color lightens up. So the more scratches they get, the lighter their skin is. Now here's the other fun part about this dolphin. When you think of a dolphin, like the skull I just showed you, they have teeth in the top and the bottom. This dolphin is not like that. They only have teeth on the bottom jaw. Well, that's different. What would that be helpful for? Let's think. If I had half of my teeth, only the bottom half, could I still eat the same stuff? Would I still eat big fish? I mean, I do eat fish, but let's pretend we're all dolphins. We eat fish. We eat maybe some large krill or small krill. It depends on what kind of dolphin you are, what you're catching. Sometimes crustaceans or crabs, they actually get them off the seafloor. But if you only have lower teeth, can you really chew anything? That doesn't seem right. Is it easy to kind of take a bite out of your food or tear a piece of food off if you only have bottom teeth? That doesn't seem like it's going to work either. Guess what? They love to eat a very specific kind of animal. I actually have a stuffed animal example for you because the Rizzo's dolphin, that's what these are. They're named after the, I think, researcher found them, in Rizzo. They like to eat this. Do you recognize this animal? You might have said octopus. This is the cousin to the octopus. They have the long body. They have little fins on the top. A squid. They like to eat squid. Have you ever seen a squid for real? Do squid have shells or hard parts, like really rough skin? Not really. A squid, I think Miss Tally might show us a picture of a squid. A squid is really squishy. They actually belong to a group of animals that are described all as having a soft body, a squishy body. The only hard part on a squid is the mouth, which is in between the tentacles, and then this little hard ridge on their back. That's it. So if you're trying to eat something that's kind of like wet noodles all the time, here's a nice squid. I think this is a big fin reef squid. Now, they might eat squid like this. That kind of squid gets about that long. But the squid, the Rhesus dolphin likes to eat much bigger. They might eat a squid called the Humboldt squid. So if you're sitting down, you can stand up real strong, and build real tall. You are about the size of a small Humboldt squid. Yes. I'm about the size of a full-size Humboldt squid. They get 5 to 6 feet long. That's a big squid. It's very big compared to like these little reef squid. And the dolphins, the Rhesus dolphins, like to eat those. They live the squid is here in California, and so the dolphins kind of move in and out of the area to follow the squid. If there's squid around, they're going to come and look for the squid. So we'll see a lot of the Rhesus dolphins if the Humboldt squid is migrating through the area too. So sometimes migration is them following their food to find it. Or like the fin whale, they might move north or south or near or far from shore because the different seasons mean there's different food in the area. Their food likes to be sometimes near the shoreline, like within a few miles, because of what it looks like underwater. There's mountains and canyons and ridges underwater, just like on land. And the water does fun things down there and helps their food grow. Well, we have just a couple minutes left. Do you recognize this animal? Oh, this is one of my favorite kinds of animals on the planet, too. I have so many favorites. You can't ask me for one favorite. I have a lot. Do you recognize who this could be? This is one of the most recognized whales because they're in most of our like pop culture and media, like TV and internet and social media. There's a lot of pictures of them because they're very popular. They're even in some pretty famous movies that were used to help promote that we should save the whales. This is the humpback whale. We actually saw the humpback earlier with the big mouth open from the side. That was the humpback whale mouth. This is their tail. Now, remember what I said at the beginning? We have people that record information about whales, where they were, maybe some of what they're doing. And we have to take pictures of them, too, because we want to know who they are. When we take pictures of their tail like this is the underside. This white and dark contrast is really easy to pick up on a camera, and we can learn more about them because these patterns are unique, just like a fingerprint. And we can find out who this is if we take a picture that we already know, oh, that's supposed to be Cleo. I found this picture of a whale. This is Cleo. There's a huge database of humpback whales here in the Pacific that a lot of researchers use to figure out more about these animals. If we know who they are and where they've been traveling to, we can learn more about their behavior. What do they do? How many babies do they have? This is a nice underwater picture of a humpback whale. So if you want to be a humpback whale, you need big, long pectoral flippers. They have really long flippers right here. These are about a third of their total body length. So if this whale is 45 feet, which is a good size, not the biggest of the humpbacks, but a good size humpback, these flippers would be 15 feet long. That's like the size of a smaller SUV. That's pretty big. Remember, their body size is the length of a bus. So, in comparison, that's pretty big. A third of their length. Wow. So if you're a 3 foot tall person, if you're one of our younger guests, you'd have 1 foot long arms. But remember, it gets much bigger. So 45 feet long, their flippers are 15 feet. Pretty big. Well, I think we're out of time to explore. Oh my gosh! What a way to end a whale watch. We got to breach out of the water. Do you like splashing in the water? So do they. And sometimes it's for play. Sometimes they're talking to each other. Remember, slapping in the water is a way to communicate. Sometimes they're just itching their skin. They don't have the fingernails like we do, so they have to splash in the water to itch their skin. Well, thank you all for hanging out with me as we learn more about how we look for whales, how to tell more about the animal once we find them, so we can figure out what kind of whale or dolphin they are, but also some fun facts about how they eat today. Now, we'll have another program here at 10 o'clock. That is our Spanish language program about sharks, or tiburones. So tune in with Cynthia as they're going to be talking more about sharks here with us at 10 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody.